That could be it. Welcome to Fast Cars, Fast Girls, your IndyCar experience with Abby Meyer. And this week joining us, we have Brett Cooley to talk about HIGPA, the Honda Indy Grand Prix of Alabama. Welcome, Brett.
Thank you for having me. I'm thrilled to be here. Hopefully we can give everybody something excited or something to be excited about.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, it's HIGPA. What is there not to be excited about?
Right. Honestly, it's the Augusta National of IndyCar races. It's the most beautiful place on top of all the other things we're going to talk about. So it's something definitely to be excited about.
It is the most beautiful place, honestly. Yeah, when Molly and I went there the first time, it was like you cannot oversell how gorgeous it is.
Right. They've done a great job with the artwork, the landscaping. It's easy to get around, but it's well done.
Yeah, it is very well done. Now, you've been going for quite some time.
Oh, gosh. I was thinking about that when I started to make some notes about this. I think we've been going since somewhere around like 2012 or so.
Wow.
Or 2013. So it started off just my boys and I. We went the first time all those years ago and had a great time with it. Got rained on like nobody's business because that happens in Alabama.
Every year.
Yes, every year. Well, now the weather forecast this year, so those of you going in 2022, looks like you will have a fabulous weekend. I'm very excited.
That makes sense. That, yeah, I won't be there, and so there will be no rain. Yeah, that makes sense.
Mother,
so you camp every time as well.
That's right. Now, the last 2 years we've been able to, and I say this for those that would, wonder, I hate sleeping in a tent on the hard ground. We've actually had a local family bring us an RV, like a 15-foot or 20-foot, 6-person RV, pull behind fifth wheel. And they drop it in a camp spot. And then we have a nice dry place, a simple place with a good place to sleep. But we are in the regular camping area. We get 2 campsites, 10 by 10s or whatever they are, and get all our cars and all our people. And we have our little camper. So we got a stable and comfortable place to sleep.
Nice. That is new. Yeah, Molly and I just roughed it with the tent. Luckily, we were next to an RV though that blocked most of the wind from the storm that we sustained that year. We laughed. We were like, if we hadn't been next to them, then with them taking all the brunt of the wind, like we're not sure that our tent would have remained standing. So yeah, I can vouch for the fact that the camping there is top notch.
Mm-hmm.
The porta potties are the cleanest at any track I've ever been to.
Yeah, that is amazing.
It's unreal. I mean, I think maybe one time I used a porta potty when I wasn't the first person to use it after it had been cleaned. I mean, it's like there's just little magic porta potty gnomes that run around and clean them as soon as they're used. It's unreal. Yep. I've never seen that many clean porta potties in one place in my life.
Which is saying something, because my experience, like when you go to the Indianapolis 500, they have all the porta potties in lot 2, and they have a lot of them. So a lot. But they still surpass even that. So it is well done. They do a good job. I think that's probably their focus. They want it to be comfortable. They want it to be attractive. And between the artwork and the ant statues and all the things around the track, they do a good job of that. So it does make it really nice to have that clean bathrooms. And then if the top secret places, you've got the bathrooms that are, proper indoor bathrooms with even a full shower, so you can get a shower during the weekend. So those are
those are top secret.
Yes. Top secret. You can find them. Just look or ask. They'll probably tell you because they're easily foundable.
Yeah, no, I was very impressed with that. And just the campground where they have the campers is a fun little spot too. Mm-hmm. You actually don't even have to go all the way down to the track to see a good portion of the track. You can just kind of hang out up on the hill.
That's right. Yeah, you've got that nice view of the final 2 turns before they run back to the finish line. Not an area that gets a lot of passing, I guess, because it's such tight turns, but you can see them coming around the corner and all the sound. And that's the nice thing is when they start practice at 8:30 in the morning, you can just look over the hill and see it. And if you're trying to sleep something off, then you'll also just hear it and be like, God, I need to sleep.
Yeah, that happens at Road America too, where it's like, oh, are we already starting with USF 2000? Is it all really this early?
Did we have to?
right? Which, those weekends are pretty jam-packed, so I guess they do. But yeah, this is a great weekend for all kinds of racing because you get the whole road to Indy as well.
Yeah, that's one of the things I was thinking about also. If I wanted to brag on the cool things for us, I've always taken my boys, and they're 15, and we've been going since 2012. So that's, they were 5 the first time we went. So they've always been able to go to the paddock, and the paddock is well laid out. They can see all the different types of racing cars because it's basically a flat concrete pad. And they just enjoy getting to see the cars and the drivers. We used to be big fans. I forget the gentleman's name. He's not racing anymore, but he remembered us, and we followed him for a while. One of the Road to Indy drivers. He just eventually got out of it. Can't remember his name.
Yeah. Was it the guy from Fat Boy Racing?
No, he always shoot. It was an Asian gentleman from Texas. Gosh, I can't remember his name. I feel bad.
I know who you're talking about. I can't remember his name either, but I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
It'll come to me as soon as we hang up. But anyhow, and so it was neat because they had access to the individual, and he was a great person. He was great with the boys, and he could recognize that they were young and interested in driving. So that was nice. That paddock is very easy to get into. There's just so many cool things about being in there, and you get close to the trucks for the Indy cars. So you're doing the work.
Yeah, which is very cool. Yeah, you get to be right up there with all the haulers, and yeah, very cool.
Yep.
It's very cool. And then is the paddock pass included with your ticket?
So it is on Friday. So we're going to be in there Friday. Saturday and Sunday, you'd have to pay extra for that. We probably won't because we end up being fully busy on those days anyhow, so we'll probably pass on that.
Yeah.
But we will go Friday as the teams arrive and the vehicles arrive. I'm trying to think, something just crossed my mind. Oh, what was it? Doesn't matter. We'll come back to it later, I'm sure, at some point.
It'll come back.
That's right.
So
like I said,
very
soon
cool.
Hang up, then I'll think of it.
Exactly. Well, and something else I think that's cool about Barber is that I feel like, go above and beyond to really create a whole weekend of activities.
Mm-hmm.
There's, like you said, Saturday and Sunday are busy days because there's just so much going on. There's so many things to do, whether you're from out of town or local. They had a whole job fair there when the year that Molly and I went for local people. Yep. And I think Saturday and Sunday, like 15 and under got in free or something.
That's right.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the case this year. So Friday is fully paddock access, basically for anybody with a ticket. And then, they've got the fan zone, which is on the back side of the track, opposite side of the start finish. And that's always really convenient it's got things for kids to do. So they go and they play the games, they get the little toys and silly things like that. And it's plenty of food. And that's usually where we have our seats on that back side. And so they're able to be busy all day long. And then, as you mentioned, even Friday night, we have the 5K run, and you get to run on the track, which is kind of cool, except for when you realize you have to run that Alabama roller coaster portion of the track, which is way uphill and downhill.
Yes.
Holy crap, that's a hell of a run.
Yes. Yeah, no, the hills are no joke.
Yep.
They are no joke. And just if you're in the camping area, the shuttle does not take you up the final hill.
No.
So, no. Be prepared for that.
That's right. Now, that is the other thing. It's an enormous loop around the outside of the track, and that shuttle is really convenient for moving through the track and getting to the fan zone or the museum or the paddock because they're not close to each other as far as distances go. But you take the tram, you sit down, they'll take you anywhere you need to go.
Yeah, no, the tram is very convenient.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they come around pretty often.
Yeah, I think they run 4 or 5 at a time, so they're just basically constantly every 8 or 7, 10, 12, whatever minutes they'll go by.
Yeah, no, that's great. That is great. Now, you guys have a spot picked out on the hill.
Yep.
And it's a great spot. Molly and I luckily found you guys.
Yep.
The year that we went, one of the fun things during the weekend is a wine and beer fest.
Oh, now we're going to talk adult things.
Yeah, and I will confess it was the closest Molly and I have ever come to missing a green flag for a race.
I'll be honest, I think I heard that story in your last podcast, and I laughed so hard because I remember that. I remember you guys showing up at the race start to where we watched the race, and I thought, oh, cool, they're going to sit with us. You're like, no, this is like a recovery option.
Yeah, because we were going to end up with you guys. Our plan was to watch at a couple different places, and we were going to hop on the shuttle. And then as we're heading over to the shuttle, Molly's like, "Do you hear cars?" Shit! It's the parade laps.
No.
We start hauling ass. We're like, Brett and Swinford are going to be over here somewhere.
That's right. Just look for the Indian. We're there by the Indian every year.
Oh, thank God you guys were there.
Oh, yeah. Matter of fact, that's an item for those that go. Not a lot of fixed seating. It's not like going to the Indy 500 where you have the stands all the way around the track. Mostly HIGPA is grass seating on, the sides of the hills and whatnot. About the only fixed seating is what's on top of the race building there by the paddock.
Yeah.
So if you are going this year, take a tarp or take a blanket and a couple of tent stakes.
Mm-hmm.
I say a couple, 6 or 8 of them. So that when you get there, go and set your tarp. And you can pretty much, from our experience, you can tent stake down your tarp where you want to sit, wherever you're going to watch the race, and it won't move all weekend.
Yeah, it's not one of those tracks. Yeah, like Mid-Ohio, you cannot put stuff out the night before.
Yeah.
But this is not one of those tracks because, you guys have that stuff set up and just ready to go.
Yep. Yeah, and I suggest totally that you should set up just around the Alabama roller coaster, not at my favorite seats.
So do not set up by the Indian.
That's right. Do not. No.
Yeah, horrible seats there.
Horrible. Really bad view. Very short visibility to the drivers.
Yeah. No, not good for photos at all.
No.
None of that.
None of that is good.
Oh, yeah. No, the Wine and Beer Fest was very fun. Well, and
you can get in a lot of trouble with that Wine and Beer Fest.
You can, and I'll tell you where we got into trouble is we're looking at the list of wineries, and Oliver Winery pops up.
Mm-hmm.
Which for the Hoosiers know that is the winery that's just north of Bloomington, Indiana. So just north of where Indiana University is, which is mine and Molly's alma mater.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're like, it has to be the same Oliver Winery. So we go and we meet the guy. We're like, so is this the Oliver like in Bloomington? And he was like, yeah, go Hoosiers. And we were like, boom, baby,
there you go.
Alumni. And so, so we got a little overserved. Our tastes were a little more than tastes, and we came back for refills. It was but it was a great time. You can get into a little bit of trouble. But I will say something else cool. They had a couple of different woodchuck beers and things like that, and they also handed out chapstick. So I have woodchuck chapstick.
Now, see, I will say this. The thing I need to figure out Thursday and Friday. So we typically leave Thursday morning. We get there Thursday afternoon, just shortly after lunch. We have a great time because we spend Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday just hanging out, enjoying the weekend. And like I said, we've got a group that we've met that meets us there every year. And I don't want to say they're really friends. They're very close to us. We enjoy them, and we get to hang out with them. And we see them once a year, and we get the big updates. Oh, who went to the military and who's in college, and who changed jobs. And whereas, Bob and Vern, good guys. Vern's always traveling internationally. He's always been in some other different country. A lot of fun. But what's cool is we get there, we enjoy the weekend, and then I need to, in those first 2 days, because Saturday and Sunday are the wine tasting, I have to find somebody to go with me to that, because you're not going to be there. T-Swin is not going to to be there. Who is going to be my wine buddy?
Oh,
you have to drink by myself. I know. Oh, maybe my daughter, my 21-year-old daughter.
There you go.
So it might have to be her. So I can totally wreck my wife's image of myself and my daughter at the same time.
I mean, that's just being efficient.
Yeah, that's right. 2 things at one time.
Yeah, you're nothing if not efficient.
Said engineer. And say, I grew up being an engineer. What am I going to do?
Well, please think of me when you drink wine this weekend.
I will. I will probably drunk text you at some point.
Please do.
Yes,
please
absolutely.
do. Yeah. No, I definitely want that to happen. I'm excited. I have my youngest niece's birthday party on Sunday. And so I asked my sister, what time are you going to have the party? because the race starts at 1.
That's
And
right.
so I didn't
That's the
say the
race.
race started at 1. I just was like, hey, what time's the party? And she's like, I don't know. I don't want it to be too late. Da da da. And I'm like, okay, well, I have a race that day. And she was like, yeah, I'm thinking 1. And I was like, son of a bitch.
You were thinking 3, 4?
I was like, didn't you mean like 3? Because she also wants me to take photos and things. And I'm like, yeah, I'll take a few photos, like when there's a commercial break on Peacock. But it's like, but yeah, I'll be the aunt that's inside watching the race.
That's right. Huh? Yeah. Okay. I'll be right there. Yeah. Just a second. Back to the TV.
I got yelled at last year by my mom. Same circumstance. It was, and I believe it was Barber last year as well. And yeah, one of my drivers crashed, and of course I was like, God damn it! My mom was like, Effie, it is a kid's birthday party.
Yeah, but I had money on him. Oh, okay, well then that makes sense.
I was like, my fantasy league though, Mom. I'm like, besides, the kids are outside. It's only adults in here.
So actually, if I took a minute, I would also point out a couple other things. First of all, we talked about how beautiful the track is, but really the other thing that's cool about the track, and I think why the drivers routinely talk about it being such a fun place to drive, is the diversity of the track. The Alabama roller coaster, where they have such a huge elevation change with sharp turns. The what's the portion? The Spider. The 180-degree turn there right at the Spider in front of us. I can't remember the name of it. It's Charlotte's Web. Charlotte's Web. Yeah. They make that hard turn, and it's such an exciting place because there's always cars who don't get the right line, and they sail off into the sand, or they lose a position or 5 positions because they make the turn wrong. Yeah. And then the backstretch that runs right in front of the Indian is amazing because they are just flying so fast and then have to hit the brakes hard before the last 3 or 4 turns to go around that loop at the backside of the track. So there's so many great places to watch. It's not that you have to be in one place. You can be in many places and see some really cool action.
Oh, absolutely. Because like you said, there are so many different places where, they can make passes or where they can really lose it and go off into the sand. Yeah, I feel like we'll probably – we'll see a lot of that at practice. There's always a lot of people hitting the beach at practice.
Yep. Got to learn how to make that turn, and if you don't learn it, well, then it's gonna be a short day.
Yeah, you're out of luck.
That's right.
Gonna be out of luck on race day. Oh, but yeah, no, there's not really a bad spot to watch from, just because of how that course it almost folds in on itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. I would say they did a good job of the way the track is set up. Most of the seating elevates from the track level. So really there's 1, 2 at the front side, 3, and then 4. There's about 4 major viewing areas that are not the fixed seating. Yeah, that are not the grandstands. Thank you. And they all look above the track down, so you have a pretty good view.
Yeah, it's like they took advantage of the topography of the area. It creates like a natural amphitheater kind of seating.
Right. There you go. That's probably a good way to think of it. It's like an amphitheater. The track is the stage. Everything else is above it. So it makes it easy to see.
Yeah, which, just could not have designed that place any better, I don't think.
No, I don't think so. No, I've never been there for some of the other cool things. They also do motorcycle racing. They do the 24 hours of lemons in February.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I say a couple of us had joked around about trying to do 24 hours of lemons.
Yeah.
It's quite a commitment, but we should go watch that one year. You know? Oh, go ahead.
Well, as I said, I've got a guy that I work with. He's like, he knows a bit about it. He's like, it's 24 hours of lemons. You can only spend like $2,000 on your car.
Oh, it's less than that.
Oh, is it? It's even less than that.
It's under $1,000.
Anything.
It's under $1,000.
Okay. But that includes like your 5-point harness.
Actually, no.
Okay.
No, that's not included. So the safety things are not included, but any improvements to the car, including the cost of the car initially, all has to be under $1,000.
All right. So they do a lot of cool things at this track. There's several motorcycle weekends, and then the motorcycles leads me to the transition to the museum. So you can fill 2.5 hours checking out the museum, which for me, I don't know, I forget. Who cares what it costs? Well, a lot of people care. It's, I don't know, it's $8 or $9 a person or something like that. I mean, it's not ridiculous.
It's worth it.
And so it's worth it, and it's 3 floors. It's several thousand motorcycles. The expansion they've done recently, the last couple of years, is kind of cool because they've got the glass plates in the floor, so you can stand on like the 3rd floor and look all the way down to the basement.
Oh,
So that kind of freaks out my daughter. She's like, "Oh, no, I can't stand on that, Dad. That's no, I
Right.
can't stand looking down. I feel like I'm looking to my dad."
I would say to me, it'd feel like when you're like looking at a mirror with a mirror, like just back and forth, like it's just never ending. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, I would love to see a motorcycle race there. I think that'd be very cool,
Mhm.
especially, I mean, since that's what the track was initially designed for.
That's right. Yeah,
But
that's a good
Indy
point.
cars do look beautiful on it.
Yeah.
One of the funniest things about the 24 hours of lemons, by the way, because I have looked into this, is that they don't actually do a full 24-hour race because the cars are so shitty that they never make it. So they do 2 8-hour races. So like they'll race on Saturday and they'll race on Sunday. But there's a separate award on Saturday night for the race team that has the best party.
Oh.
And
Now,
so
that's the deal.
yeah, and so like the group of people that I was talking with when we were lightly considering this, it was pre-COVID. I was like, we may not win a damn thing, but we will win best party.
That's right.
And I was like,
I grew up with a dad who was in the Navy, and his comment was always, "We may not win the game Friday night, but we'll win the fight afterwards." So we may not win the race, but we'll win the party.
we will win the party. Yeah.
That's right.
We used to joke around when I was on the swim team. We're like, we'll beat you in the pool or the parking lot after the race.
That's right.
One way or another, we're going home winners.
That's right. That's right. Not messing around.
That's great. What is your favorite part of a race weekend, period?
It gets to me to be like Friday night, Saturday night. I just kind of get into that comfortable mode where I'm in that camping area. The camping area is very comfortable. It's very chill. You've had dinner. You're around a fire pit with people you enjoy. And about that second or third drink and about that halfway through that cigar, the conversation just becomes real easy. Everybody's in a relaxed mode. And that was one of the notes I wrote down when I was thinking about this conversation is, because it's such it's a relaxed weekend, but also because it's such a beautiful area, it just gives you that opportunity to really feel like I'm not at work. I don't have to be somewhere. So that's the thing that's my favorite part. Now, as far as the racing goes, I love watching the race where we are able to see it because we can see start finish. We can see the back stretch. We can see Charlotte's Web, where the cars, get all tied up. I think last year it was they didn't even complete the first lap, and they had a major wreck going into Charlotte's Web. I think that's where Joseph got knocked out of the race. It's just a lot of activity that happens in those 3 levels. You can see, from where we sit to the other side of the track, you see 3 levels of racing going on. So it makes it a lot of fun to watch all that. And then, of course, our boys still like to go at 15 years old. My wife loves going, who's not the biggest race fan, not the biggest weekend fan, but she likes the camping. She likes that we're all together. She enjoys the track because it is beautiful. And that, like I said, she's the one that pointed out it's the Augusta National of race parks because it's just so well manicured and the flowers and everything else.
It is. It is very well manicured. And, you're right outside of Birmingham, but because of how they kind of, it's almost like they superimposed a racetrack onto the, like I said, they utilized the topography and they left so many trees up that you really feel like you're camping in nature. You get that kind of let down and that nice zen energy of, being in nature or going to a state park, which you don't always get when you're at a racetrack. Those things don't tend to go hand in hand, but they definitely do at that track.
That's right. So Indianapolis, as big as it is in Indianapolis. You go to St. Pete, you're in downtown St. Pete. You go to Nashville, you're in downtown Nashville. But Birmingham is way out in the country, so to say. You can't see downtown Birmingham. I've never been to Coda. I'd like to go to that sometime. So I'm not sure how close to Austin that is. Looking on a map, it looks pretty close. But Yeah, you're really able to be comfortable, and the camping is up high from a elevation standpoint and everything else that's around it. So you can see the hills and the rolling trees and all that. It just really gives you a wow. I've like gone to a national park. I'm in the middle of nowhere. Do I
Yeah.
need a cell signal? Oh yeah, I do. Okay.
Yeah, right. Crisis averted.
That's right, which is good for 15-year-olds to still have a cell signal.
But yeah, it absolutely does have that feel. And it just, like you said, about 2 beers in, halfway through a cigar, it's, you know, it's very easy to get into track mode at that track.
That's right.
Get into that nice, relaxing vibe for the weekend.
Yep.
So who are you rooting for?
All right, so this weekend I'm going to be I like and I'm really excited that Connor Daly's a regular on the series, so I'm excited to root for him this weekend. But and as you and I have texted back and forth about, I think I'm trying to say it nicely, but I just don't think I can. I think the BDE guy of IndyCar right now that I enjoy watching is Roman Grosjean.
Yeah.
I appreciate his aggressiveness to make passes. I think every race I watch, he makes a pass that just, I'm like, the guy he passed is pissed, and his team captain is pissed, but that was a hell of a pass. He just like barely missed getting knocked out or whatever. So I enjoy watching him drive.
He does have excellent spatial awareness.
I like that phrasing. There you go.
Yeah.
I think it comes from having crashed through that barrier in F1. It's like,
you know?
Well, if I can fit it through there, I can fit through that space.
Exactly right. Now he knows his limits.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh, you got to learn your limits, and then you're good.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
Dirty Harry. Every man's got to know his limitations, or yeah.
Yep. I would love to see Grosjean get his first win there. That would be very cool.
It would, and I think it's the kind of track that fits with an F1 driver, right? It's a road course, it's elevation, requires of making passes and turns in tight places as opposed to an open oval, which I love ovals, and I'm not saying anything there. I think a road course would be potentially the best place for him to win a first race.
I agree, and especially I think what you said with like the passing and the tight corners, it's a narrower track than we usually have in general.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because it was originally designed for motorcycles, and then the story that Molly and I were told by a very jovial older man driving the shuttle. It was one of the times that we happened to be like the only people on there, and so he was just giving a whole history lesson as we're driving, and we were loving it. But Mr. Barber, somebody pointed out, like, hey, if this track was 8 feet wider, you could have Indy cars. And he was like, really? You don't say.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, the track's 8 feet wider. But it is a very narrow track compared to what our drivers are used to. So I do think that that's going to play on his F1 strengths for sure.
Now you mentioned that, and it makes me think. I wanted to ask a question because I know the item we talk about every now and then with the IndyCar track, with the IMS track, is that it is a diamond cut track so that they can get the best grip on their tires for the best speed. Is any other track have that treatment? Does this track get that kind of pre-treatment for the tires and the grip? Do you know, or?
You know what? I do not know.
Okay. I suspect not, because I guess that's an expensive treatment for once a year race.
Yeah. My assumption would be probably not, because it probably is very expensive. Mm-hmm. That the only race that it would be financially smart to do that for would be the 500, where you're pulling in money hand over fist.
Right. And you're trying to get 241.
Exactly.
Okay.
Maybe one day.
Someday.
Yeah. Someday we'll see it.
That's right.
Excuse me. Yeah. But yeah, I'll have to look into that. I will find that out for next week.
Well, I appreciate that you will look into that. And if anybody I know who can find that out, it is you. You have the contacts.
Yeah, in fact, I'm just going to crowdsource it. So anybody who's listening, if you know the answer to this,
there you go.
Please let me know. Which I'll do my quick plug. You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Fast Cars, Fast Girls, or just the website, fastcarsfastgirls.com. Check it out. Nice. Just slide it on in there. But But yeah, I would bet that Barber has some sort of high-end finish that they do on their track, even if it's not diamond cut, just because that just fits in line with everything else. I mean, it's just everything is just top notch. You know how like they say the Penske perfect, it's like it's Barber perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, for all the time that they've invested in everything else, why go short somewhere else or short yourself somewhere else?
Absolutely. And they really have, I mean, you can see that they've put money into the track and into the fan experience.
Yes.
You know, they value both equally, and just really have created a great weekend for everybody that comes.
You know, and it's funny, now that I'm thinking for half a second, all these thoughts that I thought I was prepared with, more come as we talk. And a couple other things, thinking of fan experience. We talked about the wine. That's great. More adult-oriented.
Yep.
Then for people that just like cars, kids who think cars are cool, things they can see, the car corral that they have over there by the fan zone is also fabulous. They'll have the Ferraris, they'll have S2000s, they'll have Mercedes cars that are fairly unique that you don't see a lot of. On Saturday and Sunday. Those are cool to see too. My boys we'll go and spend a half hour just walking through and looking at the different cars while we're there checking that out. That's a cool event too.
Oh, easily. Yeah. No, if my dad was still around, like he would spend the entire day on Saturday just going and he would talk to every owner of every vehicle. He'd
What's
look
the history?
He'd look under the hood. He'd be like, "So what have you replaced?" Yeah. He would be a total peepaw about it. But it is very cool. It is very cool to walk through. And like you said, cars that you don't see that aren't necessarily common.
Yeah. Now, something else, for those that think, oh, this is a camping race, so I have to go down with like a whole drag down trailer full of, my food and my other stuff. A couple of the other things that are nice is nearby the track, the track makes it very easy to leave and come back. So getting out, getting back in, there's plenty of road capacity. They aren't difficult about getting scanned in, scanned out.
Nope, not at all.
And nearby there's a Buc-ee's. For those of us from the Southeast that know what a Buc-ee's is, it's an enormous gas station. They have their own barbecue and their own food, and it's an easy place to get ice and beer and gasoline for your generators. And then there's also a Bass Pro Shop. So if you need something to do, if you just need to go do something not track related, you can go wander the Bass Pro Shop, and it's size-wise about one of the biggest ones they have. So they've got all the fudge and the fish tanks and all the stuff to walk around and check that out.
Well, and is Bass Pro one of the places that you can dump your RV?
Yes, I believe they also have for like gray water and black water dumping. I think Buc-ee's may also have that now too.
Oh, that would make sense.
So you can do that right outside before you get on the highway. Go and get rid of all that mess.
Get rid of all that weight.
That's right.
Gas mileage. Well, and I visited a friend who was staying in a hotel one year, and I mean, less than 20 minutes, and I was in downtown Birmingham.
Yeah.
And so even though you feel like you're out in the middle of nowhere, you're still pretty close. So even if you hoteled it, it's not a far drive to get to a hotel.
That's right. Yeah. And if, for those that may have done Talladega in the past, Talladega is about 30 minutes east from where Barber is. So you can go Talladega, Barber, downtown. And I only say that from the standpoint, if you're familiar with Talladega, that just means Barber is that much closer to downtown Birmingham, easy to get to, easy to be in Birmingham if you needed to. If you fly in, we've had people do that in the past. They fly in for the weekend, we pick them up or bring them to the campsite, and we have a great time hanging out with them. And then we get them back to the airport and then head home.
I'll tell you what, I did seriously consider flying in.
Yeah.
For like, I was like, can I pull it off? Just do like Saturday night and Sunday, or even all in one, like just for race day. But yeah, it's not in the cards. But
not in the cards. All right.
Not in the cards this year. But I thought long and hard, and I was like, all right, this would be fun.
Well, look at it this way: you won't be there this week, but it's 2 more weeks until the Grand Prix.
That's right.
4 weeks to the 500. So those of us in the pain tour, we're on our countdown now. We're on our It's almost the 1st of May. It's almost time for the text string to start. It's almost time for all the goofy emails. You know, everybody's
hardly
looking for
wait.
Indy Idol. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I gotta send Doug my song.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh, that's crazy. Only a handful of weeks away from the 500.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Getting close.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Well, Brett, I won't take up too much more of your time because I know you have to finish packing for the big trip. All right. Any final thoughts?
So any white flag thoughts? I would say that this is a race that I would suggest if you don't have any aversions to camping, and hopefully you don't, but I would suggest this is a race for IndyCar fans to put on their bucket list and go to. Like I said, for me, it's a weekend where I get to slow down. I get to enjoy the weekend. The race is great. It's just always been a fun race to watch. And again, if you go just even a couple of times, what you end up finding is you'll find a group of campers that you'll end up, hey, I was close to you last year. Oh, yeah, you're what's his name? And it's pretty easy to get along. It's a very comfortable vibe. So everybody has a great time. So those of you that haven't been, put it on your bucket list. Come check it out. It's a great race.
It's one of those that, I would guarantee. I would do a money back guarantee. Like if you go next year and I'm there, like if you don't have a good time, I will pay for your ticket.
Yep.
Yeah.
But that's
money back guarantee. Yeah. Not paying for anything else.
Stop at the ticket, but
yeah. Everything else is on you. But yeah, no, it is very fun. So, all right. I didn't give any of the real stats about how long the race is, but you know what?
There you go. Got to hit those. Let's make sure they
actually didn't have them pulled up because I ended up getting home late. So I don't know exactly what they are. So the race will last from green flag until the checkered flag.
There you go. It'll start when it starts. It'll finish when it finishes.
Yep. It does start at 1 Eastern time.
Yep. There'll be one winner. There'll be one loser. There'll be one last place driver.
Yeah. There'll be a lot of losers, but
that's right. Second on down.
Yep. Well, Brett and I are gonna say P1 for Romain Grosjean.
Yes, that's what I'm going for.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I placed that bet.
There you go.
I would place that bet. All right. Well, we can wave the checkers. Have fun with the rest of your packing, and thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Bye.
Bye.